Hey there, Jeremy Weiss here with Weiss Tech Hockey, and as you can see, I'm out in the garage today. I'm actually doing a little experiment and figured I'd pull out the camera and let you guys in on it. Recently I was approached by a company called OdorBalance, and OdorBalance has developed a 4-part system that supposedly helps to control the stench of sports equipment, particularly hockey gear in my case. I don't know if you're anything like me, my gear just really stinks. It's not good. I'll have my wife on here in a little bit and she'll be able to attest to the fact that it's not good. It's you know, I don't wear socks when I skate, so my skates are especially bad, and it's just not a good situation. So for me, in the past, you know, a long time ago, one time my mom decided she was going to wash my equipment, and she did, and when I ended up using my equipment the next game, practice, whatever it was, it ended up giving me a pretty bad rash. And so ever since then, I've always been a little bit hesitant to jump in on, you know, on sports cleaning equipment, because I'm always trying to weigh out the risk versus the reward in my mind. You know, is it worth risking an $800 pair of skates just to have your feet not smell anymore? So for me, I've always been a little bit skeptical, a little bit hesitant to jump in on this. But you know, these guys offered to to give me a sample, and I figured I'd try it out. What I did was I actually tried it out on my gloves first, and my gloves are starting to get a little bit old to the point where, you know, it wouldn't kill me to have to buy a new set anyways. And so I tried it out on my gloves first, and it actually worked pretty well. So what I'm doing today is I'm actually going to try it out on my skates. Now, like I said before, my skates are the worst, by far the worst part of my equipment. In fact, when my wife and I were dating, it used to be, you know, obviously I'd take my shower after the games, and then, you know, if I wanted to hang out with her, I had to take another shower and then wash my hands and feet with shaving cream to hopefully mask, you know, some of the smell that was coming off of my skates and my gloves. I don't know if that's too much information for you guys, but you know, I figured I'd lay it all out on the line here for you. So my gear, my skates especially, smell really bad. Now this did a pretty decent job on my gloves. And I'm interested to see what this is actually going to do with my skates. So the second part of the thing is my gloves. Actually, I've been wearing them for the past 2 weeks since I did wash them, and there's no problem. It hasn't given me a rash. It hasn't even bothered my skin. And it's been pretty decent. So that's what we're going to do today, is just experiment with this a little bit. I'm going to show you a little bit about the products first, and then jump in and show you how to clean it. And we'll have my wife here, you know, as the ultimate test on as far as, you know, whether it still stinks or not. She's going to shoot straight with us. Okay, so here's a quick rundown on the product line. First and foremost, you're going to use your OdorBalance Offense. And what the Offense does is that's going to really attack the stink. So this is when you're using, you know, like gloves, helmet, skates, shin pads, equipment that doesn't really go in the wash all that easily. So you're going to use your OdorBalance Offense. That's going to attack the stink. And then there's part 2, which is the OdorBalance Defense. Now, what the defense does, that actually creates like a barrier so that it can't, you know, the stink can't get back in as quickly. And actually, like I said before, I actually tested this out on my gloves, and then I've been using my gloves, but obviously I put them back in my coaching bag after practice or whatever else. And so there's always, you know, anybody who knows there's cross-contamination between you know, equipment and stuff. So you're never going to want to put like a sweatshirt in your bag, or else it comes out smelly, right? My gloves have actually maintained their cleanliness, I guess you could call it, and haven't really picked up the stench from my skates or from my other stuff. So the OdorBalance Defense, that's what's going to do this. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to wash it, you're going to scrub it. I'll show you how this works, but you're going to scrub it out, let it sit for 2 minutes in the offense, and then pull it out, squeeze out all the, you know, as much of the water as you can, and then dunk it immediately into the defense. And again, you scrub it again, and then let it sit in the defense for another 2 minutes, and then pull it out, let it air dry. So the defense, that's what's going to try to help the stench from coming back. And so far for me, it seems to be working pretty well. One cool thing about the bottles is what you're going to do is you're going to put 2 ounces with each gallon of water. So 2 ounces per 1 gallon of water, and you can see on the bottles they've actually got the ounces kind of labeled out. So it's really easy. It doesn't take too much brain power to get the right mix. Next, for your stuff that's easily washable, so like your Under Armour, you know, anything that can go in the wash, that's where you're going to use this. Now this got a little bit wet, so the label's kind of starting to peel off, but this is your Laundry Pro. Okay, so what this does is just like laundry detergent, but it's got the same, you know, activating ingredients, same makeup. That's what's going to do is help that to not smell so bad. So you put your Under Armour, you know, I don't know what other under gear you wear, but anything that's washable, machine washable, throw it in there with the Laundry Pro. Then, last but not least, OdorBalance Overtime. What this does is anytime you buy like new gear, so say, you know, new skates, new shoes, you know, cleats if you're playing baseball or football or whatever else, you spray this down on new equipment, and that helps get, you know, start you off on the right foot so that, you know, it's going to take longer before it starts smelling or whatever. What the OdorBalance guys recommend is going through, wash your full set of gear once per year. And you know, according to their, you know, their studies and research and everything else, that usually does the trick to keep it smelling pretty fresh for the majority of the season. So once at the beginning of the year, or maybe once at the end of the year, might make a little bit more sense. Wash your whole set of gear. One set of all this will wash your whole gear. So it's pretty straightforward. But today we're going to be focusing mostly on the offense and the defense because obviously it's skates. You can't throw skates in the washing machine, and they're used, so they're not brand new. So we won't be using the Laundry Pro or the Overtime. We're going to be using offense and defense. So we'll cut to that right now, show you exactly how this works, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so here's the setup we're using. As you can see, we've got the offense here. This is just kind of a big bucket. I'm using these wider buckets just because I'm doing my skates right now, but depending on the piece of equipment you're using or you're cleaning, you can use whatever size bucket's gonna work. I've got about 4 ounces in. Now I want you to really pay attention to the color of the water. As you can see right now, the water is clean. We haven't done anything with it. And just wait till you see. If this is anything like my gloves, which I'm expecting it to be a lot worse, this water is going to be pretty dark by the time we're finished here. This is the type of brush that we're using just to scrub. It's just basic standard bottle brush. You can get it any like Walmart or anything like that. We'll just throw that in there for now. But the reason why that one's good is because it's got a long handle. You can get down inside the equipment, you know, right into all the nooks and crannies, hopefully. And then, so you can see we've got 2 buckets. And of course, this is the defense bucket. And this is what we're gonna dump our skates in after we've cleaned them. So again, pay attention to the color of the water here, because it's not gonna be the same after we're done. So that's that. I'm gonna put this up on the tripod then, and I'll show you how to clean this. All right, here we go. So I'm just gonna kind of give you a close up. Here's what I've done. I've taken the laces out of my skate. As you can see, I've taken the insole out as well. So you can kind of get an idea of the type of nastiness that we're looking at here. Not the cleanest piece of equipment by far. Definitely probably about the worst smelling piece of gear that I have. So that's the inside of it. You can kind of see. And let's go to work. So first thing we're gonna do is just throw it right in. Get a little wet for a bit. Okay, and then let's take this brush and go for it. Okay, so I've given a pretty good scrub down to the skate itself as well as the insole. You can see already the color of the water is a huge difference from where we started. So that's pretty nasty. But now what we're gonna do is the skates don't float too much, so we should be all right with this. If you're doing something that floats like gloves or elbow pads or something, you might wanna get something to weigh it down. But we're just gonna let the skate sit in here for about 2 minutes, and I'm gonna lock the, let's see if I can make it so that the insole stays as well. Keep it under, submit it under for about 2 minutes. And then we'll go ahead and switch it over to the defense mode. Okay, so the 2 minutes is up on my first skate, so we're just gonna take this one out. It's kind of the same drill that we did with the other one. You know, make sure we squeeze out any of the extra water that's in there. Try to get as much of that out as possible, just so that it can take a shorter amount of time to dry. And then all we do is set her down and let her air dry. Now, just a word of caution, my gloves took a few days to dry out. So if you're planning on doing it, I mean, especially skates, I think skates, like once the water's in, it takes it longer to get out. So skates tend to get more waterlogged than gloves do. I think skates are gonna take a while to dry. So I've done this on a day where, you know, I don't have hockey for a few days. We've got some breaks over the weekend, or some games over the weekend, so I won't be lacing up at least till next week. So try to plan your schedule so that you don't get stuck with soaking wet skates after, as soon as you've cleaned them. So we're gonna set those off to dry. In the process, while I was waiting for that 2 minutes, I got my other one scrubbed out, my other skate scrubbed out, and it's just about done its second 2 minutes. So I'm gonna show you that real quick. So you can see my other skates in there, just doing its little soak job. Check out the color of that water. That is just disgusting. There's no way to sugarcoat that. It's just nasty. This is years and years of me going without socks in my skates. So, not the prettiest thing in the world. But this is almost done. So we're going to do kind of the same thing we just did. Wring it out as much as possible. And then transfer it over to the defense tub. And we'll let it soak for a bit there. Scrub it out a little bit more there. And then they'll both be able to dry out. So we're going to go ahead and cut and then just kind of show you what it looks like at the end of the day. Okay, so we're just finishing up. As you can see, I've got my skates out here. They're just going to dry for a little while. Once they're a little bit more dry, I'm going to take them inside the house so that it's warmer in there and they can dry faster. But really, I mean, most of the stink is pretty much just gone. And there might be a little bit of a trace, but for the most part, it smells much better. We'll have to get my wife for the final test. But for the most part, I mean, these are smelling pretty decent already. Now, the real test will be once they're completely dry. But, I mean, based off my results with my gloves, I'm pretty confident in how these are going to end up. So we're going to let those dry for a bit. Just the final result on the water. I'm going to try to get you the best view possible here. But look at that. I mean, it's so murky that you can't even really see through to the bottom of the tub. So that is disgusting. I mean, all that is on your skin, game in, game out, practice in, practice out. So that's the offense tub. So that's the tub that's, that's where most of the dirt ended up. But even at that, the defense tub, you can still see, I mean, that's pretty murky. You still can't even see to the bottom of the tub. And, so that's, I mean, it's a good thing. As gross as it is, it's a good thing to get that out of your equipment and, be able to get rid of it in a way that's not going to give you a rash or, ruin your gear or anything like that. So pretty effective, I would say. And we're going to get my wife back down here to give us the final go-ahead on, whether she can still smell anything or not. Okay, so it's actually been a couple of weeks since I initially washed the skates, and the reason why is because it turns out I had done a couple of things wrong in the process that made it so I didn't get the result that I was looking for. So I talked to the guys at OdorBalance. They set me straight and gave me a couple tips and pointers on what to do differently. So I ended up washing my skates again and got a great result the second time through. So the couple key points that I made the mistakes on. First and foremost, I had my ratios off in terms of how much product versus how much water. So you're going to want to make sure you do 2 ounces per gallon of water, and I'd recommend measuring that out. I thought I could eyeball it, but every tub that you're using, it's always a different shape, and whenever you have a different shape, it's tough to eyeball exactly how much water. So I had way too much water compared to the amount of product that I was using. So the second time through, I made sure to get my ratios. I measured it out, made sure to get my ratios exactly right, and that helped out a lot. Second thing, my skates they're about 10 years old. So I've been going 10 years without socks in my skates. And so there was a lot of, buildup, a lot of bacteria and stuff locked into those skates. So what I actually ended up doing the second time through is I bathed them. The water turned super brown again. So I took them out, cleared out the water, made a new batch of water, and then did the same thing again, and then actually let them soak for about 2 hours. So I soaked them really well, and then, like I mentioned in the process before, then I moved them over into the defense tub, and they're so much better than where they started off. It's unbelievable. It's really actually worked really well when I did it the proper way. The last thing that I did wrong is I didn't let them dry thoroughly. So I didn't let them dry enough all the way through, and because I didn't have time. So when you're doing this, make sure that you plan enough time in advance that you can let them dry all the way through, or you run the risk of not killing all the bacteria. So they need to be completely dry. The best way that I found to dry it, I took the hair dryer and just was kind of going to town for a couple hours, just alternating back and forth between the boots. That worked pretty well to get the initial wetness out, but then what I ended up doing afterwards is we've got one room in the house. It's actually our little bathroom on the main floor. And what I did was I just took, that bathroom's got no windows, no nothing. It's just a small area. So I shut that door. That bathroom actually can get really hot if the door's left shut. So I shut that door. I put both skates just over top of the air vent and left them there for a night, like just overnight. And it dried them all the way through. So now the skates, they smell so much better than where they were. You know, the water turned brown again, so you can kind of see how much bacteria and germs and everything were coming out of that. And in terms of any allergy or any, you know, skin rash or any irritation like that, there's been absolutely nothing. So I'm pretty happy with the product. And I've worn them a couple times since I washed them the second time, and my feet don't even stink afterwards. So it's not like used to be, if I even touched the skate, it would contaminate my hand or my feet or whatever part of my body touched the skate. So my feet really didn't even stink after I've, you know, practiced. So, you know, I'm pretty impressed with it. Great product line. Again, what I used with the skate was the offense and defense, and there are a few other products in the mix as well. We'll probably do other videos to tackle those products as well. But the other products that we've got are the Laundry Pro. That's, you know, for washing your materials, textiles, and then also the Overtime. So that's what you're going to use on, you know, any new shoes or new equipment before any of the stink gets locked in the first place. So the last part of the test, we're going to quickly clip over to my wife. She's going to give us the final okay. But even she is sitting there going, these are a lot better. So that's OdorBalance. You can pick these up at weisstechhockey.com. We'll put a link in the description as well if you're watching this on YouTube. And it's a great product. Definitely something I recommend.
Wow, that's actually way better.